Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. I have a very fun and creative card to make with you today. So I've got a bunch of supplies pulled out here. I'm going to be using the Timeless Arrangement set, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be using any of these sentiments. I will be using some of these dies, and I've got some older stamp sets. So I've got the Statement of My Heart here. So this reads, "To love what we do and share what we love as we help others enjoy creativity and worthwhile accomplishments. In this we make a difference." And this is the Stampin' Up! Mission statement. And when I first saw this, when I joined Stampin' Up! About 6 years ago, I really loved this statement because it pretty much sums up what I've been doing and feeling with my students who I've been teaching watercolor to for many, many, many years. And so, so that immediately made me happy. And I think it was the 30th anniversary when we went to the convention that year. We got this stamp set, and I still have it, and I use it when I am congratulating a team member, one of my design team members, on their accomplishments or whatever it is that we may be celebrating. And today I want to make a card for one of my team members, and so this is going to be perfect. And then I've got this other set that says "Let's Create Together," and there is a congratulations, you deserve it, you're on your achievement, you did it, and all these other things. So I think I'll probably end up using that as well. And I'm also going to be using the new in color Wild Wheat, which I haven't really had a chance to use yet because I've been using the Pebbled Path so much, but I really love this color too. So today I'm going to be featuring this color. And let me just check my settings and be sure that we are live, and yes, I see we are, so that looks good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to cut some of these beautiful little foliage and intricate flowers and all these things, and to do that I'm going to use my stamping cut and emboss machine. So let's just clear the area here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here it is. This is the cut and emboss machine, and it's all manual, doesn't require any electricity, and you just roll. This is the bed, okay, and it comes with a couple of plates, and after a while they get all messed up, and that's okay. You can replace them, but you don't have to. I tend to use mine as much as possible. And then you just roll it through, and this is like a mini press. So I'm going to put my Wild Wheat cardstock down, and then I'm going to select a whole bunch of these because I'm not sure which ones I'll end up using. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that whenever I get my heat embossing or my die sets out, I tend to make a few extras just in case, because you never know when you want to have an extra little something, and these things come in really handy. So I think that's about it for now. There are some really nice little labels here, and I'm wondering, I think they might be too small for my let's see. Let me see. No, just a little bit too small, so I'm not going to be using those. All right, so then once you get your dies situated on your paper, just put your top plate over and run it through. And just crank it through. Now, because some of these dies are very intricate, I'm just going to go back a second time to make sure that I get a good clean cut. And that's all there is to it. Oops, I put this one upside down. Oh well. All right. Here we go. I'm going to get my poker tool out and just give this, there are little holes in the back of the die so that you can push the paper out if need be. Sometimes it pops right out and you end up with something like this. So I'm just going to go ahead, get all these things out. I hope everybody's doing well today. There we go. I'm always so excited when one of my team members promotes, because it's a big deal and it comes with a lot of perks. So in this case, this team member has just promoted from bronze, which is the beginning level, to bronze elite, which means that she's now going to be able to enjoy an additional 5% for a total of 25% off all of her Stampin' Up! Purchases. So it really does make a big difference. And by the way, there's a special going on right now. If you'd like to learn more about joining my team and all of the things, the perks and benefits that come along with that, there's a really good special going right now where you can select up to $155 worth of product from the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and that includes all the tools, the stamping cut and emboss machine, and everything else that's in the catalog, and get it for only $99. So $155 worth of product for only $99 and get free shipping. And of course, you become a member of the Dandelion Cottage design team and get all of the benefits that includes. Plus, you'd be joining a fantastic group of people. I think that the team members are absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure you would enjoy joining us in our monthly Zooms and our creative challenges, all of the business training, and all the fun that we have just getting together. It's a very friendly group, and I think that when you join the team, you're going to learn a lot. Learn a lot about design and watercolor painting and card making, journal making, all the things that we do. All right, so there are my things. And I'm going to show you what they look like on this white piece of paper so that you can see. Actually, this is very vanilla, not white, but you'll be able to see them much better. And I hope you can see how delicate and beautiful these things are. You could never cut these things out by hand. I mean, you'd need a magnifying glass and an X-Acto knife, but look how pretty those things are. Okay, so I'm going to use these now on the card that I'm going to make. So let's get to that. Just going to put these off to the side until we're ready for them. So to make a very simple basic card, I'm going to use my trimmer, and just to go back to that starter kit again, if you do want to begin paper crafting and you're just starting out and you don't have any supplies, there are a number of tools that you could get that will get you off to the right start immediately. And so the first three that I always say are the trimmer, your snips, and your bone folder. These are must-have items. And if you wanted to get the cut and emboss machine, you could do that and save a tremendous amount of money with your starter kit. So that's a really good way to go, and that's what I recommend you do. And of course, if you already have those things, then there are all the stamp sets and the embellishments and everything else. So I'm using, this trimmer has a blade that scores, so I'm going to go ahead and put a score mark. That's going to make my fold nice and crisp and even. And then I'm just going to cut this in half. And now that gives me two very vanilla thick cardstock card bases. And these papers are really beautiful. They have a wonderful hand. They are designed to work with inks, and they are all color coordinated. There's a tremendous amount of colors available. And then I'm just going to use my bone folder to go ahead, give that a nice crisp edge. And there it is. This is nice and smooth because it's designed to take a fold, and I'm ready to go. I have a very vanilla envelope that matches perfectly, and I have a piece of the wild wheat cardstock, and I have cut this to 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to give me a nice little border around the edge. And then here's where the fun comes in. So when I stamp, I like to use this foam pad. So this is, if I can give you a peek at what's in there, this is the gray piercing mat. So this is a very dense foam, and not only is it great for piercing so that you can make holes in your project, but it's also great as a foamy surface to stamp on, so it helps you to get a very nice clean image. And what I like to do is I just cover these with the grid paper so that I can use the surface to stamp off on and get messy and protect the surface of my foam pad. So lately I realized that my scrap paper was getting really really ready to retire. So what I did was I took it off, and here it is, and I threw it away. But as I was looking at it in the waste paper basket, I liked the colors and the texture and the pattern on here, and I thought, well, wait a minute, I can use that. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm just going to cut this out, cut out this section that I like. And let's see. I'll start at 5 1/2. I'll probably want to trim this down, but let me start there. And I'll trim this here. And over here. Okay, so now I've got this kind of funky, abstract background that I think would be really pretty. And I noticed, and it's even got some gold ink in there, or that's been burnished on there. And I thought that it looked really nice with the wild wheat. So I'm going to take a portion of this. So since this measures 3 3/4 across, I'm going to cut this at 3 1/2. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe a little bit less. Let's go 3 1/4. I'm going to save this for something else. See how that looks. It's pretty good. And I'll trim this down over here. And then that was 5, so I want this to be about 4 1/2. All right. So now I've got this really fun kind of DSP made from my grid paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and decide if I want to crumple this up. I think I do. I'm going to crumple it up. There we go. And I want to sponge around the edges, so I'm going to take my wild wheat and my sponge. I'm just going to knock back the white core of the paper. You can use your dauber or your blending brush and get the same kind of effect. I've got a little tear in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the edges of the tear as well. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some of the old, what is this called? The scallop lace trim. So this is something that is a retired product, but I still have some of it left over. And I'm just going to kind of measure that, snip that there. Trim this little bit off. Okay, I'm going to use my double-sided tape and I'm placing that on the card. I'll zoom you in so you can see a little bit better. I'm placing it on the card so that it's under the DSP that I just made. DSP stands for Designer Series Paper, and basically what that refers to is a paper that has some sort of an image, a texture, or a pattern on it. So I'm just going to peel that away. Now I'm going to take my, and I want the edge of the lace to just reach the edge of that card, like so. Okay, and then that's going to go on there like that. I'm going to go ahead and glue that. Oh, it does have a kind of a flower image on it. Do I want it to go this way? Or maybe I want it to go that way. Okay, So I'm just going to glue this down. This is the multi-purpose liquid glue, and if you're thinking of getting a starter kit, I really recommend that you use this glue. And if you want to learn more about the Dandelion Cottage design team and the special starter kit deal, I will be posting a link in the description below after I do the live video, and you'll be able to read all about it and see if that's something that you might be interested in. Alright, now I'm going to get this centered on here as best I can. And I don't want this to be flat. Remember, I crumpled it up. I want to have a little bit of a texture to it. So there it is so far. And don't want to forget these things. So I'm going to be using these around the label I make. But right now, what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of stitching, okay? So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to put you on mute so you don't have to hear the noise of the sewing machine. So hang on just a minute. Okay, I'm back. So here's what it looks like. I'm using my gold metallic thread around the edges, and I just want to tie this off. I don't know if anybody else bothers. Does anybody else tie off these things? I'm kind of a new sewer, so I don't know what everybody else does, but I figured since I have these tails, I may as well go ahead and tie them off. Okay, there's the front, and then the back. Okay, and then these little gold ones, I actually leave a little bit of that showing just because it's pretty. So that's my card base so far. And now let's see how I'm going to do this sentiment. So first, before we before we get to that, we have to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and get my block out. And get my sentiment. Maybe it'll fit on a smaller block. Oh yeah. This is a little bit, it's always good to match up your stamp to your block size because it helps. I'm just trying to line it up a little bit. It helps to get, sorry if my head's getting in the image. All right, you know what? I think I better go with the bigger one. But if you use the block that fits the stamp best, it helps you to avoid getting a halo, which is a little edge around your stamping. All right, and get this inside my card. There we go. So there's my sentiment. And then I need a label. So for that, I'm going to go grab a punch. All right, so this is the Essential Tag Punch, and I'm going to need another piece of the Very Vanilla cardstock. And let's see if any of these, I may have to go with a different stamp. Let's just see. Let's just see if this will fit. This may be a little bit too big, but we'll give it a go. Let's see. We'll try You Did It. All right, let's see if it fits in here. It might just make it. Oh, it does, barely. Well, I don't think that's going to work because I don't have room for my hole punch. So, okay, I'm gonna find a smaller punch somewhere that, I mean a smaller sentiment that says congratulations or something to that effect. But in the meantime, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to go ahead and put a, actually it's too big. I'm going to put a hole in here for my ribbon. And what I'd like to do, actually, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Hang on. Where did I put that paper? Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and punch a second one because I'm going to layer this up. There we go. And I want to make sure I get my hole and the exact place that I need it to be. So I'm just going to line those two tags up and then punch that in the same spot so that they're exact. And now what I want to do is take these little die cuts and I'm going to cut them down. And glue them in between the tag, like so. I'm just going to keep adding them around. I'll zoom you in just a minute so you can get a better look at this. There we go. And I'm just going to fill in the couple of these spaces with these little ones. Okay, so I'll zoom you in so you can get a quick look at that. So that's how it looks on the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other piece and sandwich those die cuts between the two. But I don't want to do that before I have a chance to stamp on here. And since I don't have a stamp for this right this minute, I'm going to hold off on that. But in the meantime, if I flip this over, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so that's the back, and then this will be the front with this tag on top. So the next thing is clear the surface. Get my card back, and let's take a look at this. So my card front is going to look something like this. Then I'll have my tag coming across with my sentiment. All right, but what I need here is a place, and I'm going to get my piercing mat out for this. What I want to do is pierce a couple of holes so that I can tie this tag onto the card. So I just want to get this sort of set up the way I like it. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to put a hole through here and a hole just above it. All right, so it's going to look something like that. have these 23-25 in color jute trim colors. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that wild wheat. And this is probably going to be a little bit too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unravel it a little bit. So I'm just going to take a short length. And then untwist it so I can grab an end and just pull that apart. Get that untangled. So now I've got a little piece of my jute twine, and I can go into my little sewing box here, grab a needle, thread that through, and I'm not going to tie this on yet until I do the stamping, but I'll be able to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. I just want to make sure that I've got long enough tails here to be able to tie, and that's going to work just fine. So I'm going to take this off for the minute. All right, and so now I can adhere this onto my card base. Make sure I've got my sentiment right side up. There we go. I also have a private Facebook group that is called Something Old, Something New, where Stampin' Up! Demonstrators can share their projects and what they're making with retired products, because, you know, we all have the things that we love that we'll never give up. And I don't get rid of my old stuff. I keep it and I use it. And so this is a great place where you can share your designs. We also have some creative challenges and lots of things going on. So if you're interested in joining the Something Old, Something New group, just leave a comment below so I recognize your name. And then when you go to the group on Facebook, just do a search, Something Old, Something New. I will be able to let you in. All right, so here's how everything looks so far. Okay, so there's my card base. I've got my twine here ready to go. I've got my bottom layer of my tag. I'm going to stamp my congratulations on top here, and that's going to get tied onto the cover with the jute twine. And then what I have are, I've got the 23-25 in color dots, which have these beautiful wild wheat ones, which I think are so pretty. And what's really nice about these dots is that they've got a very shallow profile. They're not too bumpy, so they go through the mail very nicely. So I'll be able to embellish with that. So that is my card. In the thumbnail, I will show you the finished card and how it looks with the stamping on it. And I'm just going to check to see if anybody's asking any questions. Oh, and listen, I've got a little die cut left over here that I can use right on my tag, like so. So let's see. Linda says, well, now I'm going to have to rethink tossing my grid paper. Well, I sure did. You know, I had it in the trash, and it was really kind of funny because the way I saw it, Linda, was that it was in one of my videos when it was all messed up. And looking at it small like that on the screen made me realize that, hey, you know, there's some really nice textures and colors in there. Maybe I should retrieve that from the waste paper basket, and I did. Beverly says, what an elegant card. Well, you know, it's kind of shabby chic. And, you know, I used the old, I forgot its name again, scalloped lace trim. But if you have any kind of lace scraps in your sewing box or whatever, you could even use some ribbon. And what I've seen people do is kind of not ruche the ribbon, but you could ruche the ribbon, but they sort of pleat it, you know, make little pleats. You could even do it with paper. Yeah, it's the old cover to my stamping off pad. Let's see, is there anything else here? Okay, well, hello everybody. There's so many people here. Good to see you all. Well, I hope that gives you some ideas. And of course, if you are in either the Dandelion Paper Pals or the Something Old, Something New group, I would love to see what you do. You know, your stamping off paper, your scrap paper is going to look entirely different from mine. So it'd be really fun. Actually, maybe we should make a little contest of, you know, seeing all the cards that people can make with their stamping off paper. That would be kind of fun. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I'm looking forward to mine. And I will be back on Wednesday for Watercolor Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then again for Paper Crafting Thursday, also at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you then. Till then, stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I'll see you next time.